If you've been involved in a probate case, guardianship proceeding, appeal, or another court matter, you may have been told that you need a court bond. And if you're like many people, your first reaction is usually, what is a court bond and why do I need one? The good news is that court bonds are more common than most people realize, and they're often required to protect the interests of other parties involved in a legal proceeding. In this video, we'll explain what court bonds are, why courts require them, and some of the most common situations where they may be needed. What is a court bond? A court bond, sometimes called a judicial bond, is a type of surety bond required by a court. The purpose of the bond is to provide financial protection if a person appointed by the court fails to fulfill their legal responsibilities or causes financial harm to others. In simple terms, the bond helps ensure that court-appointed individuals carry out their duties honestly, ethically, and in accordance with the law. Court bonds are often required when someone is entrusted with managing money, property, or the interests of another person. Why do courts require bonds? Courts use bonds to protect beneficiaries, heirs, minors, creditors, and other parties who may be affected by the actions of a court-appointed individual. For example, if an executor mishandles estate assets or a guardian improperly manages funds belonging to a minor, the bond may provide financial protection for those who suffer a loss. The bond creates accountability and helps build trust in the legal process. Let's look at some of the most common court bonds. Probate bonds. Probate bonds are often required when someone is appointed to administer an estate. Examples include executor bonds and administrator bonds. Personal representative bonds. These bonds help protect heirs and creditors by ensuring estate assets are properly managed and distributed according to the law and the court's instructions. Guardianship bonds. Guardianship bonds may be required when a person is appointed to manage the financial affairs of a minor or incapacitated adult. The bond helps protect the individual's assets from mismanagement, misuse, or fraud. Conservatorship bonds. Conservatorship bonds are similar to guardianship bonds and are commonly required when a conservator is responsible for managing another person's finances or property. Appeal bonds. Appeal bonds are different from probate and fiduciary bonds. These bonds are often required when a party appeals a court judgment and wants to delay payment or enforcement while the appeal is pending. Who is responsible for obtaining the bond? In most cases, the person appointed by the court is responsible for obtaining the bond. The court order will usually specify whether a bond is required, the required bond amount, and any conditions associated with the bond. If you're unsure whether a bond is required, your attorney or the court can help clarify the requirements. How is the bond amount determined? The court typically determines the bond amount. In probate and fiduciary matters, the amount is often based on the value of estate assets, trust assets, guardianship assets, and funds under management. For appeal bonds, the amount may be based on the judgment being appealed and other court requirements. How much does a court bond cost? One of the most common misconceptions is that you'll need to pay the full bond amount. That's not how surety bonds work. The bond amount represents the level of financial protection required by the court. The actual cost is usually a premium that represents a percentage of the bond amount. The premium may vary depending on the bond type, the bond amount, credit history, financial qualifications, and underwriting requirements. How do you get a court bond? The process is typically straightforward. First, obtain a copy of the court order or documentation showing the bond requirement. Next, work with a surety provider to apply for the bond. Once approved, the bond documents are issued and can be filed with the court as required. Depending on the bond type and amount, approval can often be completed quickly. Court bonds play an important role in protecting beneficiaries, heirs, creditors, and other parties involved in legal proceedings. Whether you're serving as an executor, administrator, guardian, trustee, or appealing a judgment, understanding the purpose of a court bond can help make the process less intimidating. If you've been ordered to obtain a court bond and aren't sure where to start, Integrity Surety can help you understand the court's requirements and obtain the bond you need. Contact us today to learn more about probate bonds, guardianship bonds, appeal bonds, and other court-required surety bonds.